Hey y'all! Today I'm going to be doing my January wrap-up and my February TBR. Unfortunately, even though I had a really ambitious January TBR, I only read 2 books, and I'm really disappointed in myself. But once you see one of the books that I read this month, you will kind of understand why it took me a long time to read it. Before we jump into my wrap-up, I would just like to make a note that I give ratings out of 10. However, I will give you the rating out of 5 just as a comparison. So the first book I read in January was Murder After Hours by Agatha Christie. This book is also published under the title The Hollows, and it is one of the books in her Poirot series. So I gave Murder After Hours 7 out of 10 stars, or like 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but it didn't read like a Poirot novel to me. I've read 8, 9, 10 at this point, and it just didn't feel the same as the rest of them. Honestly, for most of the book, I didn't actually care about the mystery, which is normally all you care about in a Poirot novel. Typically, the characters outside of Poirot in a Poirot novel just tend to move the plot along, and you don't really care about them very much. However, in this case, I cared a lot about the characters, but I didn't really care about the mystery. And that was why it got a slightly lower rating from me. Because even though it's great to really care about the characters, that's not what the Poirot novels are really about. The Poirot novels are about this really incredible detective solving the mystery, and like I said, this just had a really different feel from all of the other Poirot novels that I read, and it didn't really read like a Poirot novel. However, other than that, it was a really interesting book, and like I said, there were actually some really interesting characters in this one. The second and final book that I read in January was The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I absolutely loved this book. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. It was amazing. Everyone that I've seen who read this book absolutely loves it, and I can really see why. It's just so beautifully written, and it has such an intriguing story. I will admit that it did take me just a little while to get into the story, because even though the writing was really beautiful right from the start, you don't really know what's going on, and there's not a ton of action or like intriguing things happening. And so until we get into Quoth's story, I wasn't super invested in the plot yet. However, once his story did start, I was super drawn in, and even though it took me a while to read this, I really, really loved it, and I could not wait to read more. I just have been really busy lately with school. Plus, this book is like 660 pages, and even though that's not ginormous, it's pretty big, and the font isn't super large, and so it did take me a little while to get through this one, but I did absolutely love it. So now I'm going to be moving into my February TBR. I have a few books picked out already, but I am doing the TBR challenge. Basically, if you don't know what this is, I put 12 challenges in here at the beginning of the year, and each month I will draw a challenge and have to complete it. I got the idea from Kat from Katie-tastic, and I will leave a link to her video talking about it in the description. I've already picked most of the books that I should be able to read in February, and so there are definitely a couple in here that I'm hoping I don't get. For example, read 6 books. I'm not sure I have time to do that this month, and the only stipulation I put on there was that if I was in the middle of A Song of Ice and Fire, I could get a different one for that month. So I'm really hoping that I don't get that one, but at least half of them in here will not mess up my TBR. So let's go ahead and grab one out of here and see what challenge I'm going to have to complete this month. Shake, 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 shake it. Okay. Okay. This one's calling to me. Okay, let's see what challenge I have to complete this month. Please let it not be 6 books. Okay. Dang it. The one that I said I didn't want to get. No! Read at least 6 books this month. Allowed to re-choose only if I'm in the process of reading A Song in Ice and Fire. I even wrote that at the bottom. No. Okay. I can do this. I can do this. I'm just going to be doing a lot of reading this month. And of course, I pull it on the shortest month of the year. Of course. Just my luck. But this is doable. I can live with this. Although, once you see the books that I've already chosen, you'll see why I'm a little worried about this. So, of course, the first book that I'm planning on reading in February is The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, which now makes me concerned since I have to read 6 books this month, and this book is, let's see, yikes. I know it's 900 something pages. Oh, wonderful. It's not 900 something, it is exactly 1,000 pages. Of course, the 1 month I decide to read a 1,000-page book, I'm stuck with the read 6 books in 1 month challenge. Of course. Just my luck. The next book I'll be reading in February is one that I've been anticipating for a while now, and that is The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon. I absolutely love the Bone season, and I'm so excited to jump back into this world and get back with these characters and see what's going on in their lives. I'm so excited for this. I just cannot wait for this book. And if I hadn't started the Kingkiller Chronicle right before this, I would have been able to read this like when it came out. But unfortunately, I don't want to leave the world of the Kingkiller Chronicle and then come back to it, so I'm going to finish the books that are out and then jump into this. The next book I'll be reading in February is Mistborn: The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I will be attempting to participate in hashtag A Year of Cosmere this year, so I definitely want to read this in February. I will probably read it right at the end of the month, just so that I can jump into the second book for the March read-along right after it, and I'll probably honestly just jump into the third book right after I read the second book, even though they're not reading it until May. However, now that I have to read 6 books this month, I'm a little concerned because so far all of the books that I've chosen are over 500 pages, so that's great. I'm really wishing that I said that if I read a book over 1,000 pages, I was allowed to re-choose, but unfortunately I did not. Oh well. The next 3 books that I'm planning to read in February are actually books that I plan to put on my March TBR, but since I have to read 6 books this month, I just decided to throw them on to the end because fortunately they are all very short, and that is the Ascendance trilogy by Jennifer A. Nielsen. I've heard some really wonderful things about these books. I've heard that the first book has this really awesome twist. I know that Jeff from Ermagerd Books loves the first book, and so I'm just really intrigued, and I really want to get into the series because it sounds really awesome. So this is my TBR pile for February. Yikes. I'm really concerned about this. I'm going to be spending a lot of weekends reading. But it's okay, I'd rather read than do homework. So there you go, that was my January wrap-up and my February TBR. Let me know down in the comments what books you guys are planning on reading in February. I will leave a link to my blog down in the description as well as my Goodreads. Add me on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with you on Goodreads. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!